Have you seen the movie Die Hard? Do you know what it means to die hard? What's the origin of this phrase? And what is the meaning of the proverb, old habits die hard? All this and more coming up, but first, do subscribe to The English Nut. Thanks. Have you watched the 1988 action movie Die Hard? This film, which spawned a number of sequels, is considered one of the greatest action films. The main role was turned down by stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, and so Bruce Willis lucked out by being cast as the protagonist, police officer John McClane. This catapulted Willis to Hollywood's A-list. But as the English nut, I'm actually more interested in the movie's title, Die Hard. It reflects the toughness of the protagonist and the villains and how hard it was to kill them. To die hard in its original sense meant to die reluctantly, resisting death till the end. The phrase was coined in 1811 by Lieutenant Colonel William Inglis of the 57th Regiment of Foot of the British Army during the Battle of Albuera. Inglis was injured but stayed with his men, urging them on with the words, "Die hard 57th, die hard," as they fought a ferocious French attack. So famous did these words of encouragement and the spirit of the regiment become, the regiment was eventually nicknamed the Diehards. This meaning of the term was first recorded in the 1703 book titled Psychology. It was mentioned in the rather ghastly context of condemned men being hanged to death. Some men would give in to death without resistance. There is even a story that they would pay people to pull their legs while they were hanging so that the noose would choke them to death faster. It has even been theorized that the term pulling someone's leg originated from this practice. However, this theory is unsubstantiated. While there were those who chose to succumb to death as quickly as possible, there were others who fought it till the end, turning the hanging into a prolonged affair. It was said of these men that they chose to die hard. The location where some men died hard while others got their legs pulled was Tyburn in London, the main venue for public hangings in England till 1783. From the dark origins of being associated with hanged men fighting off inevitable death, to its ennobled meaning of fighting valiantly in battle till the end, the phrase underwent quite a transformation. But that's not the only change of meaning it went through. In the 1860s, senior officers of the British Army who resisted military reforms came to be known as diehards. In British politics, the hyphenated adjective diehard came to be used to describe right-wing politicians. In particular, it was applied to those who resisted the reduction of the powers of the House of Lords, the upper house of the British Parliament, by the Parliament Act of 1911. It was also applied to those who were prepared to resist unto death the Home Rule Bill of 1912, which would grant Ireland self-government. In the 1930s, the term diehards was used to describe a group of British right-wingers who, among other things, opposed Indian independence. Today, diehard is used to refer to someone who's not easily swayed from their belief. For example, I'm a die-hard user of Apple computers. Or, even die-hard devotees of the pop star were shaken by the persistent rumors of child abuse. Die-hard often appears as a part of the phrase, old habits die hard. This proverb means that it's difficult to change one's behavior, attitude, or ideology. In fact, the proverb is so familiar, people commonly quote only a part of it, assuming the listener will fill in the blanks. So for example, you might say, I still use pen and paper to write. Old habits, you know. Here's an example of the use of the full phrase by Barack Obama. It is from his speech about climate change in the COP26 summit in Glasgow, Scotland in 2021. He said, even though I'm not required to attend summits like this anymore, old habits die hard. And when the issue at hand is the health of our planet and the world our children and our grandchildren will inherit, then you will have a hard time keeping me away. Obama was, of course, referring to the fact that he was no longer the president of the US, which is why he was no longer required to attend summits like this. But it was an ingrained habit from 2 terms in the Oval Office. And COP26 is an abbreviation for the 26th edition of the Conference of the Parties COP to the United Nations Framework Convention on climate change, a two-week conference that has taken place annually since 1995 with the purpose of finding solutions to the global climate crisis. Though the origin of "old habits die hard" is unknown, we know that the phrase has been in use at least since 1758, when Benjamin Franklin, a founding father of the US, used it in an article he wrote. Die Hard, written like this as one word, is the brand name of a car battery, introduced by Sears, Roebuck and Company in 1967. It's clever to have a brand name that describes the quality most sought after in a product. From the gallows to war to politics to Hollywood to branding, Die Hard has traveled a long way. I guess you could say that the phrase, like an old habit, dies hard. Do subscribe to The English Nut on YouTube. Click on the bell icon too so you're informed as soon as I come out with a new video. And because old habits die hard, let me end by saying I'm The English Nut. Bye for now.